According to the textbook Understanding Human Communication, communication can be defined as the process of creating meaning through symbolic interaction. Now, this doesn't necessarily mean that this interaction needs to be in the form of a face-to-face conversation, which is just the most basic form of communication that we think of when we hear the word. Communication can occur through just a series of bodily movements or a series of text messages, and especially recently, the use of social media. The nature of communication has changed dramatically over the past several decades. We are equipped with such a wide range of outlets for the expression of our ideas and can interact on a much larger scale than was deemed possible just a few short years ago. Social media is a perfect example of an outlet that is growing in respect to our ability for larger scale communication as an individual. While social media can accomplish tasks that are impossible for a single individual to accomplish on their own, communication-wise, it also has some drawbacks that are slowly retracting our communication skills from everyday life. Social media is creating generations that lack basic face-to-face communication skills. Social media is highly addictive and can create an individual who allows the information gathered through such outlets to dictate their thoughts, actions, and opinions, even when the information can be highly altered to be presented in such a manner that sways the audience's opinions. According to a study by the marketers at MediaKicks, people spend more time on social media each day than they do on eating, drinking, and socializing combined. The rise of mobile devices with instant access to the internet has made it easier for social media to be available anywhere at any time. This allows people to keep their friends, followers, and readers updated down to the minute on what they're doing, eating, drinking, and seeing. After a series of initial posts, viewers start to expect content from these individuals, and this creates the beginning of the cycle between creator and audience. Before social media, we would have never shared some of the trivial information that we do today, because there would be so many more steps necessary for the information to become as widespread as it can through social media. People are less likely to engage in conversation that revolves around things that are posted on social media, and when people tend to post everything on social media, this eliminates people's desire to interact in a more personable atmosphere. It is also very easy for people to edit themselves on social media. You can write and rewrite a post or caption or edit a photo with a million filters and then post it when you're confident in the effect it will have. When you have a genuine conversation, however, you get one chance, one opportunity to express yourself. You can't go back and erase what you said in the minds of those you're interacting with. Your reactions and replies are genuine and occur in real time. There is no like button in real life, no place for you to write down what you want to say and then hand it over when you're ready. This ability to edit your online persona makes it harder to interact at a meaningful level when you no longer have a screen to hide behind. Face-to-face communication cannot be edited, and some of the basic principles of conversation are lost when a majority of an individual's communication skills are written, not spoken. Social media leads to users yearning for the validation that the content they are creating and sharing is received in the manner they intended. People begin to act and post in ways that will earn them the most likes or positive comments. The ideas of themselves that they are communicating to their followers is a false one, or at the least, a highly altered one. Follower response can also be insincere, as well as it is common for users to respond in ways they are expected, or in ways that will get their actions reciprocated. How often do you find yourself scrolling through Facebook or Instagram, liking every post you come across without reading or viewing the content critically? Sometimes I find myself double tapping every post I see just because I know people will appreciate the tally of another like. When people see that their content is receiving the response they had hoped for, they get a high of sorts. They feel validated in their sharing. The more your brain rewards your body in reaction to this positive feedback, the more your body and mind starts to crave it. NYU professor Adam Alter describes someone liking one of your posts as a little bit like taking a drug. There is this unknown factor of how your content will be received, so when it is positive, the brain triggers the positive physical response. While there is a similar response to positive feedback in face-to-face communication, it is not as easy to physically look back at and document or prove it to other people, whereas online, everyone can see public comments and other people supporting your posts and shares. The negative side of this is that people are much more likely to spread negativity through their comments because it is easy for them to hide behind their screens and don't have to face their instant the instant repercussions of their responses as they would when having a face-to-face conversation. Lastly, social media outlets have other intentions besides posing as an outlet for communication. To uphold the expectations and changes necessary to keep participants content, social media outlets need sponsorships. This leads many to utilize intense advertising to ensure that they have the money to continuously develop their platform. While advertising is a form of communication present in other aspects of our lives, they are not so prominently present and necessary to its existence. Social media's use of advertising normalizes the selling of products or services in our everyday communication, which isn't necessarily the case with our person-to-person or face-to-face interactions. It is an entirely different type of communication when someone is trying to sell you something in person versus seeing the advertisement and scrolling over it. We start to lose the ability to interact in other types of communicative situations besides just conversationally. How often do you see a door-to-door salesman anymore? For a while, this was the only way to sell a product. Now you open Facebook or Instagram and every other post is selling one product or another. Regardless of how much social media can take away from face-to-face communication, it has taken our ability to communicate to masses of people much farther than possible in the past. Think of your last post. How many people liked it, viewed it, commented on it? Now think of a story you told someone in person. How many people heard it? How many people were involved in the conversation? The differences in these numbers is a good indication of the positive effects of social media. These outlets can allow us to stand for causes that we are passionate about and get the message out to a wider audience. Social media is also a good outlet for individuals who already have prior difficulty with social interaction. It can give them the opportunity to feel accepted and recognized when they receive support in response to their posting, commenting, and sharing, according to Sally Quinn in the Oxford Handbook for Cyber Psychology. Social media can also spread our understanding of the world because it's easier for us to make connections with people from a wider range of locations. I can be friends with someone on social media that I see every day, but also with someone I've never met who lives halfway across the world. But I have gotten to know them from messaging, their posting, and the content they share. Social media is a communication resource that must be monitored and regulated, especially by the self, because it is easy to get caught up in the negative aspects of it, making it turn into a communication issue and not strictly a resource.